Hi, my name is Jenna French, and I am a behavior analyst with Northeast Metro 916. For this Collaborative Intervention Network behavior track presentation today, I'm going to be talking about group contingencies. And group contingencies is just a really fancy way of saying like whole classroom reinforcement system. So we'll talk about the different ways that you can use them and some creative applications in the time of COVID. Why are we here? First, I want to share a little bit about me. So I am a board certified behavior analyst, and I work with the consultation team with 916. So I do individual consults for behavior support strategies. I also do program or classroom consults to help, make things go a little bit smoother in the classroom, or to help motivate students to meet classroom expectations or practice new skills, things like that. So my goals for this presentation are for you to leave with some ideas for group contingencies that you can use in your classrooms with your students that are effective, easy, and fun. So first, a little bit about group contingencies. They're a behavior management strategy that's used for the whole class. You can do a group of students or the whole class. But one of the things I've noticed, especially during my time consulting, is that it's much, much easier to address behavior as a whole class than it is to manage 5 or 6 different individualized plans. And of course, those plans are also very helpful and very important to make sure that we're implementing consistently. But if you've got a few students in your class that really just could brush up on some of those classroom expectations, why not do a whole class contingency? Help them practice those skills and make it fun in the process. It's just a little bit easier for you to, as a teacher, to do something with the whole group. Through these contingencies, you'll select a specific skill that's appropriate for the age group. Let's see here. And it can be done in a variety of ways. So you can, make it your own. You can tie it to a theme. You can do a lot of different things with it. And these are really great strategies to build, maintain, and reinforce different COVID routines within your classrooms, especially as students are coming back to school. So there are 3 main types of group contingencies, and I'll talk about each of them today. The first one is the dependent group contingency, and here in this visual, it's known as the hero procedure, and that's exactly what it does. Is you select a single student or a group of students. If for the dependent procedure, the student or the group is going to be known to the classroom, I typically lean towards selecting a group of students just so that you can set that group up for success and you're not singling out one student. But through that reinforcement procedure, that group of students, if they meet the expectations for that day, then they earn the reward for the whole class. So they kind of become the hero, so to speak. The second type is the independent group contingency. And that, in this visual, is every man for himself. So everyone has the same expectations, but whether or not they earn the reward at the end is based off of their own individual performance. So it's presented to the group. Anyone who meets the criteria receives the reinforcement at the end. And then the last one is the interdependent group contingency, which is probably the most common one. Here they call it all for one and one for all. The whole group is working together collectively to earn the reward. So let's walk through some examples in the time of COVID. So an example of an independent group contingency, so remember each student is working to earn their own individual reward, could be for socially distant hallway transitions. So I'm thinking here, if you've got middle schoolers or high schoolers who are transitioning from classroom to classroom, what you would do is you would watch the students who are transitioning to your classroom to see if they are meeting the expectations for socially distant hallway transitions. So I put a little definition on here because you do want to have those behaviors specifically defined. What it would look like is students following the visuals posted when walking in the hallways, such as staying 6 feet apart, walking on the right side of the hallway, etc. So each time you see a student following those hallway guidelines during passing time, maybe you provide them with social praise and put $5 in their virtual bank. And this would be a system that you already have set up that they're familiar with. And it's COVID friendly because then you're not exchanging like actual pretend paper money or tickets. It's just, hey, you know, I saw you do this, you get $5 in your bank for the day that we cash them in. And so then the reward would be on Fridays, students with at least $15 in their virtual bank. So that means 3 times they were observed transitioning at least throughout the week and meeting those expectations, then they can shop at the class store. And then I did put a little note here at the end of the presentation. There's a list of different resources. One of them is a very lengthy list of free or low cost reinforcers. So it includes different privileges, activities, items, just fun things that students might like, and it's across age levels. And they actually do label them for preschool, elementary, middle school, and high school. So it's a great resource. I encourage you to look at it and see what other creative things you can include for your students to earn. The next example I have is for the interdependent group contingency. So that's where the whole group works together to earn a reward. So for this example, the target behavior is wearing masks. It looks like, you know, the mask strap behind their ears or behind their head, you know, depending on the type of mask they have. And then the mask needs to be covering their nose and mouth. So the procedure would be each time you see a student wearing their mask correctly, they get to take a mask down from the bulletin board to reveal part of the mystery reward. And I have a visual on the next slide, so I'll show you that as well. And then the reward would be once all of the masks have been removed from the bulletin board, the class gets the mystery reward. So here's kind of my my take at the creating a visual for this. There aren't any actual pictures of it, so if you guys are the first ones to do it, you could absolutely take a picture and put it on the internet. But here, so they have these little images of masks that they would get to take off, and you can kind of see behind it, it's class movie day is the mystery reward. So that's another fun, creative way to do it. And then an example of a dependent group contingency is a small group of students work together to earn the reward for the whole class. In this example, the target behavior would be social distancing. It looks like standing, sitting, working, or playing within 3 feet of peers, because I believe with classrooms being allowed to have more students, that expectation was decreased from 6 feet to 3 feet. So the procedure is that a group of 4 students is chosen and announced to the class. So today it's, you know, blue table's chance to earn the reward for us. And blue table has 4 different students. So they would earn the reward. And then each time the students in this group show social distancing throughout the day, just when you can catch them, they get a tally on the 3-inch mark on a yardstick. So I'm thinking yardstick, 3 feet could be kind of a fun way to incorporate that as well. So then once the tallies have reached the end of the yardstick, the whole class gets 5 extra minutes of time outside. And so here I have little purple tallies on my yardstick with a star at the end, just to show when they've reached their goal. All right, so for a dependent group contingency, I do have a variation idea that could be kind of fun. This one's called Secret Student, and some of you might have already used this with students in your class before. But the target behavior here would be washing hands. So I have the definition of what it looks like. And then the procedure is 1 student is selected as the secret student each day. And the teacher is the only one who knows who the secret student is. And then you would just watch them throughout the day to see if they're meeting that criteria for hand washing. So at the end of the day, if the student met the criteria, the secret student would be announced to the class, and then they would earn a token toward maybe a messy play day at their desks. If the student didn't meet criteria, they would not be announced to the class, and then they would just get to start over the next day with a new secret student. And then I put a note here that if that student didn't meet the criteria for that day, that's a really good opportunity to review hand washing or the expectation as a whole class. So again, you're not singling people out, but giving them that refresher, that reminder of what's expected. And then there's also the good behavior game, which is where you would divide the class into 2 teams. And with this one, this is another fun variation. The target behavior would be wiping down their desks at the end of the day. So we have the definition of what it looks like. So their desks need to be completely cleared off, and then they need to sanitize them based on the classroom procedure before packing up to go home. The procedure would be each team must work together to make sure all desks in their group are sanitized. The first group done and checked according to their cleaning checklist gets a point toward extra free time. And then the first team to earn all of their points gets 15 minutes of extra free time in class on Friday. So these are just a few quick examples of different ways you can use group contingencies and different COVID routines or new rules in the classroom that you can focus on through those different group contingencies. So a couple tips for implementing these. I would start by picking one behavior goal at a time. And the reason why is because that way you can be very specific. You can help them practice that skill, and you would choose something that you'd like to see the whole class improve on. And then you could set it up to kind of rotate through different skills weekly, every 2 weeks, or monthly. But I don't recommend going longer than monthly, otherwise you start sounding like a broken record and the reward really loses its value. So I would, rotate through that. And then as students are meeting these goals, you can always add in more. So say your first main priority is to increase mask wearing. If they've earned the reward consistently 3 times in a row, then let's pick a new behavior to start working on. So you can also switch it up like that too as the class is mastering these different skills. You also want to teach the behavior. So focusing on, what does it look like? What does it sound like? And also, why is it important? Especially for some of those older students, you get more buy-in when you explain to them why it's important that they do these things. And then the last part is make it visual. So let the students see their progress, and you can tie it to a theme to make it fun in the classroom. So here are a few COVID-19 visuals that are geared towards elementary students, and just some fun different ways to show those different expectations. You can post around the classroom. I'm sure you guys have a million of these resources, but I wanted to just share a couple fun ideas that I found just doing a quick Google search too. And then some COVID-19 visuals for secondary students. These came straight from the CDC website. I think they're very appropriate for older students as well. All right, so here's some other ideas. This example I thought was really cute, and I've seen it done in a couple of classrooms. But here, the students are working to earn brownie points. And what this is it's a metal brownie tin with little magnetic brownies that the teacher can put onto the pan. And so each time they get a compliment from someone else for good behavior, they earn a brownie to their pan. And then when the pan gets full, the students get a special treat. So this is a fun way to keep your students motivated. This is an example that was done targeting kindness. So families were sent a letter home about how the students had been working on using kind words and gestures for the past few weeks. And when they were caught using those kind words and gestures, they received a kindness card. Once the kindness cards filled up the kindness tree, they got to have a little class party or little class event. And so this class in particular decided on a building forts party. And so the teacher sent home a note to let parents know, and they had a lot of fun making their fort. They called it Dino Island. So that's the picture that's on the right. And then on the left, that's the template of the kindness cards that they would get. So in addition to earning kind of that token reward that's building up the tree, they're also writing specifically what the students did that was kind, that earned that kindness card. So that's another way to recognize students if that's the type of skill that you're working on. Some other examples could be filling up marshmallows in a cup to have a hot chocolate party. Or I liked this one for nice things people do and say. We'll add another link today. So it's a paper link chain. And when the chain and the floor meet, then the teacher will bring a special treat. So that's kind of fun too. And something fun for the students to watch, as it's getting closer and closer to the floor, it might be more motivating to, you know, be kind and do and say nice things to earn more of those paper links on that chain. All right. So here's the point in the presentation where I would like you to pause the video for just a few minutes and jot down a quick list of skills that you would like to target through a group contingency in your classroom. So it can be COVID related or it can be classroom expectation related, but just take a minute or so to just quickly jot down a few ideas. All right, and I got one more. So I'd like you to pause one more time and take another few minutes to just think of some fun rewards that your students might like to earn. And you secondary student teachers out there, you know, teachers who have middle school and high school students, your students like fun things too. So write them down, write down some different ideas. And then, you know, you can always run them by your class too and have people vote. All right, well, hopefully you've got some good fun ideas. You can also, you know, make a list of things and have students give their feedback as far as what they'd like to earn. It's really important that that reward is worth it for students in order to effectively motivate them to actually meet those expectations that you're setting. So just a few other ideas. These are different ways of visually representing the group contingency. There's a thermometer to measure your progress. I like the idea of the goal ball machine instead of a gumball machine. There's like a Candyland board, so students can kind of see where they are on the map as they make their way up to that candy castle. And then the other one is kind of a roadway where they're working up towards the 100 point, I would think. And a few more. So here's another example of a mystery reward. This one, specific behaviors are written on, or I guess specific events kind of are written on Post-it notes, and then they're covering the class mystery reward. And so this is targeting a lot of different skills, but it's also really cool because then the students can see their progress, or they can know what skills they need to be focusing on in order to take another step closer to earning that reward. And then there were two other examples for Class Dojo. I've seen that used in some classrooms. So there's a dojo meter where maybe the whole group is working to earn a reward. But then there's also whole class and group rewards that students can cash their points in and earn those things. So just a couple of variations there. A few other ideas for different rewards. You could have a question and answer session with the teacher. So students are often so curious about their teacher's background and personal life. So this could be a great reward for them to have some time to just ask their teacher anything, get to know them. Obviously, you'd want to preview the questions first and eliminate anything that's too personal, so they would write them down and submit them. But then you could randomly draw questions out of a hat and answer them. You could also have the students decorate the classroom. Maybe they could choose a theme, and they could earn their opportunity to have a little fun Friday where they decorate the classroom according to that theme. And then another example could be a class talent show. So in the time of COVID, I also wanted to think of some other fun COVID-friendly reward ideas, especially because, exchanging food, if you give out treats or just anything else that requires that, physical exchange can be a little bit more risky. So one idea could be to decorate a mask or a face shield. The class could kind of earn that decorating party and then wear them. You could do a pin or tape the mask to the face. So here I'm imagining a big face on a bulletin board or a large piece of paper. And then students could close their eyes and try to pin the mask on the face. And once they do pin the mask on the face, then they earn a reward. So it's kind of like the same concept of the students pulling the mask down from the mystery reward. It's when you catch them, doing that behavior expectation, they get a chance to put the mask on the face. So that's another example. You could do a socially distanced dance party, or you could do like a Kahoot trivia game. So just something that's fun for students that they can all engage in safely. And then some other ideas, building forts using blankets on their desks, create a classroom forest, go camping in the classroom, have a cooking day, do a glow stick dance party, or maybe have art choice days. So here, if the class followed a group contingency, then they would earn a star, and once they earn 5 stars, they earn a smart choice day, or a smart choices choice day, because they made smart choices in art class, or in any class, I suppose. Just earning the art would be the reward there. All right, so the possibilities are endless. So be specific, have fun, and make it your own. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I've included my email on this presentation. Got some references, and then these are some resources and examples. So I have a few articles, group contingencies, when and how to use them. There are a few examples based on theme that I thought were really fun. I think this link in particular, she sells different packs of pre-made templates. You're welcome to do that, but it's also kind of fun to just see what ideas are out there, and then you can also make your own. Here, the third one down is the free and low-cost reinforcers document that I was talking about at the beginning of the presentation. So I would encourage you to take a look at that and see what other ideas you can come up with. The next two are tips for mask wearing and tips for teaching COVID routines. And then the last one is other classroom management strategies that I thought would be helpful. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you're leaving with some really fun, exciting activities of group contingencies to do with your students. And again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.